Welcome to Real Stories in Real Estate with your host, Denise Laframboise. Real people sharing real stories about their adventures in real estate.
Welcome to the Real Stories in Real Estate podcast, where we talk to real people about things they've done themselves in real estate, what they've learned, so that we can learn from their experiences as we play in the market or try to build wealth ourselves in the real estate market. I'm your host, Denise Laframboise, and I appreciate you tuning in. Today, we're visiting with Jackie Schagen. Hi, Jackie.
Hi.
Thanks for being here.
Oh, I'm just so glad to be part of this.
Awesome. So today we're going to talk a little bit about buying the home that you're in now. So if you want to kind of tell us a little bit about what you were looking for when you first started and the process around that.
So my husband and I got married in 2015. And about 6 months after we got married, we were ready to get a house. We were in a rental that was, what do they call it? It's like single level, but 3 bedrooms, and there was the same unit above and below us. So we were attached to like 6 people, and I could not deal with touching people and hearing all their stuff and smelling all their, I wanted to not be touching people anymore. So our goal was to get a detached home. We didn't have a really specific area where we were looking, but it was just taking a little bit of time to figure out what was available at that time. And that was right before the peak of the bubble about 5 years ago. We were just right before things really spiked, but it was busy. Like at that point, much like it is now, you didn't get home inspections. You might not get to see it. Offers were happening in 24 hours. It was just like wild. So yeah, that's how we started looking. And it was an experience for sure.
And what did you think you wanted to buy at the time? So it was just, we wanted a detached home.
That was the biggest one, have some yard, not touching people, a garage. We didn't have a really long list of specifics because I think sometimes it's better to be open to the possibilities than to have like a really, really set list of what you want. And then you're really narrowed to what might be available in your budget too.
Right. And that was sort of the case, right? Because what did you end up buying compared to what you were looking for?
Well, one of the reasons we got into a nice neighborhood, we live in North Oshawa, and it's an older established neighborhood, but we've got a nice it's like a sneaky pie lot, which I didn't even notice because we bought it in like the middle of the night. But we were able to get into somewhere where we could grow into and have a family because there was something with our house that no one else wanted to touch. Our house came with electric baseboard heating. And one of the things that our real estate agent had us doing when we were first looking is, how you go online and you select all the things that you want and don't want, all your criteria. Mm-hmm. We were always looking at lists that had forced air gas as one of the requirements. So I am a very research-oriented person by nature. I was always looking by myself too and not just counting on my realtor. So when I came across this property, she's like, "Ooh, I don't know if you want that." And I'm like, but let's look. Like everything else in the price point we wanted to be was just going off the rails. Mm-hmm. So we managed to find something that we could change. We can't change the location. You can't change your lot size, but we could change how the climate works in our home. Because it was such a hot market and because no one else was looking at this using the same filters that probably everyone else was using, we were able to get a home inspection. We were able to bid back and forth when no one else in the market was doing that. So in looking at the thing that we can change versus what you can't change, you can find something maybe that is a better fit for you and your family.
Yeah. And I think a lot of first-time buyers make that mistake. I mean, a lot of buyers in general, right? You're looking for your dream home. You're looking for something that's perfect. And the problem is when you find that perfect thing, you're competing against a lot more people. If you're open to change or open to something with an ugly kitchen or whatever it is, it's often the case that you can buy at a lower price point and you have less competition. Mm-hmm. That competition thing is huge when you're not just competing against the seller, you're also competing against other buyers to drive the price up, right?
That's right.
Yeah. And I agree with you, right? Like if you can have the ugliest house on a nice street, you can fix it over time. You can't change the street.
That's it. You can't change
Right.
where you are. I mean, yeah, you can change your space a little bit, maybe do an addition, but yeah, you can't change where you are. You really can't change your lot size. So like make sure that, and even the orientation. I didn't
Yeah.
realize when we bought, again, because we bought at night, that we have all these beautiful big south facing windows. Like it just worked out so well
Yeah.
because we were able to look past the one thing that was such a deterrent for other people. And everyone's worried, oh, what are your bills like? We did a comparison with friends of ours who have a comparable size home. And within 1 year, if we look at both all of the energy costs and all the electrical costs, it was a less than $1,000 difference. We saved about $80,000 on the price of this home, and we're able to get in the market for an upgrade that costs less than 20.
Yeah.
So like overall, like it's important to look past what what the perfection is that you're looking for.
Yeah. Yeah. Especially if it's your first home, because sometimes that's like, it's your starter home. Like it's not somewhere you're going to be forever. Like, is it good enough for right now? Right. And any not good things about the baseboard heating?
The only thing, well, there's things that I do like and things that I don't like. What I do like about the baseboard heating is we're able to control each room's heat individually. So some rooms that we don't use as often, we have them on timers. We can have them at lower temperature, so we're using less energy that way. And using the smart thermostats, you can still do that with baseboard heating. The downside is that because our home is heated that way, we don't actually have ductwork. So we can't currently have central air. Now, there are other options available. Like this home came with ductless mini split systems, and that moves the air a fair bit. They've since conked out, and I'm not replacing them yet. And we have these great, like the portable air conditioners. So the rooms that we spend the most time in, the bedroom and the living space, we can get enough cool that we're comfortable.
Yeah.
We're not getting it down to 14 degrees and you need to put a sweater on, but I don't think I'd be doing that anyway. I don't like to pay any more hydro than I have to.
Right. We had some in our house growing up, and I remember it was the best place to put it on top of the baseboards to dry your mittens. And when you came in for your hats and stuff, like that was like the lineup of mittens, right? In the winter, it's like a little shelf of heat.
Yeah, it's always cozy. Like, where the warm spots are, and that's where you stand when you're brushing your teeth and that sort of thing. It's good.
Nice. And do you think like you will eventually replace it with forced air, or you think you'll leave it?
We're investigating options. We haven't done anything yet because it's not urgent.
Yeah.
We're doing other things to help increase the energy value of our home. Like we've replaced most of the windows. We're doing new sodding and Tyvek so that we can make sure that it's more airtight that way. We're still on the fence. There is a long-term plan to renovate the main floor and take out all the walls. Right. So we'll plan where ducting goes at that point. But there's so many really great options. Rather than the standard forced air gas, there's high velocity, which has really a much smaller ducting that can go in more places, and then you don't need all the big bulkheads. So we're starting to investigate that and figure out what might be the best option moving forward.
Nice. Yeah. Yeah. It might be more energy efficient in the long run, right? If you're getting some new fancy system. Cool.
Well, and the technology for that stuff is changing so rapidly. Like we're seeing the increase of electric vehicles and solar panels and even capturing wind on your own property. Like I think that electric is going to come back in the short term.
Yeah. It's interesting to see where things go, right? Or where the next stage of things is. I agree with you. Like the duct system, it's not terribly efficient. Like we have 3 levels of house. We have a loft in this house, and it does not do a good job of getting all the way up there in the summer or the winter, right? It's always warmer in the summer and cooler in the winter up there.
Right.
Right. So do you want to tell me, would you do this again?
I would absolutely do this again. I don't have any regrets. I love our neighborhood. I love that we're close to everything. We have lovely neighbors. Our neighborhood is relatively old, so it's like some of the newer families are starting to move in, which is really awesome. And there's a sense of community. We live on a smaller crescent. I don't even have a sidewalk to clean, so like it's a pretty cozy neighborhood. But one of the other reasons we got this home is that I wanted to have something that was relatively untouched. Like a lot of our home was original to 1981. So, some flooring replaced, but it's the original kitchen. There's a couple things that are original. And I'm really happy about that because I don't want to pay for someone else's bad renovation.
Yeah.
I want to make my own decisions.
Yeah. I agree with you 100% there. I know it's pain to live through a renovation sometimes, but if you can do everything perfect to you, isn't that better than paying for something that's perfect to someone else? I think so.
Not even necessarily perfect for them. When people do renovations to sell, they do some scary stuff. I work in the construction industry as my trade, and I can't tell you how often we're having to redo projects, or especially bathrooms, that were done really quickly to sell because they hired someone who wasn't qualified to do the work. And now 2 years after they have the house, they have major problems.
But it looked really good. Looked really good
lovely.
On the listing,
it's brand new. We won't have to do it. No, you're especially going to have to do it because they did it to sell, and it's terrible.
Yeah. And that's the reality of it too, right? When you're looking for that perfectly, beautifully done home, who did it?
How did they do it? Right? That's right.
So let's talk about your business a little bit. So you have a business. Do you want to talk about that?
I do. I own Jackie Schagen Design, and I specialize in kitchen and bath design. So that was another reason for me to buy something that's been untouched, because I'm definitely going to want to make it exactly what I want it to be. So I work with both customers and contractors to help sort out big renovation projects. Kitchens and bathrooms are permanent and expensive, and you want to do it right the first time. So what I do is help people understand their choices, educate them about the pros and cons of everything they're looking at, so they're going to get the best return on investment for their project. Now, that could be a monetary best return on investment, or it could be a lifestyle best return on investment. They're really different things depending on what your goals are for the home and how long you're wanting to stay there.
Awesome. And what are you seeing lately? Lots of renovations, lots of kitchens happening.
Oh, there's so many renovations happening right now. No one can travel. And we're all, staying safe in place. So the way people are using their home is changing a little bit. But yeah, lots of kitchens and bathrooms happening. I'm going to say that white kitchens are still really popular. And I don't really see that going away because, again, it's a permanent thing you're putting in, and that's a safe choice.
Yeah.
Things that are permanent, I'm always going to err on the conservative side a little bit. But let's go wild on your floor. Let's have fun with your backsplash. But the things that you want to last 30 years, let's make sure that they're not trendy.
Yeah. If you do something timeless, it lasts forever, and then just pop the colors out their places.
That's it.
Yeah. I love a white kitchen. Maybe someday in my future we'll have one. Because I'm one of those people sitting here stuck in my house for a year going, oh my gosh, I don't love that kitchen.
And a lot of people are using their kitchens so much more than they ever did.
We always cooked, but my kids are still too young. I don't want to spend money on something I feel like they're going to destroy on me. Isn't that terrible?
There are so many materials that they can't. We have a new material that we have. It's called Phoenix, F-E-N-I-X. It's worth Googling. It's a self-healing material. So I like to try stuff out for myself. So I took one of these doors and I took keys, a fork, a coin, and a butcher knife to it to try to destroy it.
And it's like cork, like it just absorbs back into...
It has like a self-healing surface on it. Wow. So as long as you don't get through the surface, you can repair everything that happens to it with either the magic eraser or a wet paper towel and an iron.
That's crazy.
There are so many really cool synthetic materials happening. There's a wood shortage generally worldwide. So we're getting more creative with the materials we're using. And there's really, really cool stuff.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Very interesting. So I suppose there's lots changing as this manufacturing kind of situation with COVID changes. I never thought of that. I just see things being more expensive as we're going through construction projects, but it's cool to think, okay, somebody's coming up with something neat.
A lot of it's coming out of Europe because they've had a wood shortage for far longer than we have. So the innovation, they're always a good 5 to 10 years ahead of us. But yeah, there's really great synthetics. I mean, I've been doing this for about 20 years, and some of them are so good, I could barely tell Like I thought one of them was real wood and it's not. It's a melamine and it's beautiful.
Very
And that
cool.
stuff is so durable. Like your kids'
Mm-hmm.
Tonka trucks, like whatever, it's going to stand up. And that's important too. Like you need to choose the stuff that's going to work for your family and your lifestyle.
Oh, okay. Well, maybe we need to look at more things.
Maybe it's
awesome.
time.
Oh dear. My husband's going to tell me to stop doing this podcast if I start like coming up.
No, it's okay. We'll get him excited about it too.
Awesome. Well, thank you for joining me today. I really appreciate you sharing it. I think it's key that people are looking at, the houses that nobody else is looking at. I think that's where the deals are. I do think that a lot of people are afraid of unique heating sources because of financing challenges, and we've seen our share of them. But if it's a decent house, there's a way to make it happen in most cases. It's really just about finding the right lender or the right insurer to do that. And so I really thank you for that. I think it will inspire some other people to also maybe extend their search a little bit to find something else that they weren't necessarily going to find otherwise. So thanks for being here today.
Thank you so much for having me.
Awesome. And so I'm Denise Laframboise, and you can check out this and more episodes of this podcast on my website, www.deniselaframboise.ca, or anywhere you find your podcast. So Spotify, Apple, Audible, you'll find it everywhere. Have a great day.